things first, Undisputed coming up after us. Jenny Taft, good morning to you. What are you guys talking about today?
Good morning, Jenna. Plenty to talk about on Undisputed this morning. The Giants GM says they have a plan after trading away Odell, but do we believe that? And then Earl Thomas, he's heading to Baltimore. Let's just say Skip is not too happy about that. Should be interesting. Chris Broussard is here in studio to help us break down the Warriors' big win. Undisputed coming up next. Jenna, back to you and the guys.
All right, Jenny. Sounds like a good show. Look forward to it. Time for us here to go viral. LeBron James looked like his old self Tuesday night against the Chicago Bulls, throwing down multiple dunks that reminded many of his early seasons in the NBA. Yesterday, hopped on the gram, posted side-by-side images of himself doing the same dunk he did his rookie year, captioning it, "Some things never change."
I mean, they are, and when you see it, somebody put it together side by side where, there it is, right behind me, actually, now that I see it there, where you can see it, I mean,
how high
almost
he got
exact
up.
same elevation,
Yeah.
like, that LeBron is not, people say LeBron should do the dunk contest. Not really a creative dunker. Powerful dunker, good in-game dunker, but there's not, I mean, this is kind of his go-to creative.
Yeah, but I just believe if the lights were on, he would come up with something because he's never done it. I believe he's a good enough dunker from that. But, man, the similarities with this picture, they're amazing. 16 years apart. It's the only thing similar is, Jenna, when he was on the Cavs, they weren't in the playoffs either. So
that's true.
Same elevation, same.
You can't see the hairline from this angle either, because that... Not a lot of similarities there from rookie
The most impressive part of him posting that on the gram, Instagram was down for like 7 hours and he still did it.
That's why Jenna's been so good today.
Oh, guys, come
she
on.
wasn't on the gram all day yesterday.
All day. But I tried 1,400 times.
She's not depressed. So many things.
Back to the Warriors
we love the gram.
and the Rockets. Steph Curry called this a statement game. Warriors hadn't beaten Houston yet this season until last night when they certainly did make a statement. Everyone did. Boogie Cousins scored a season-high 27 points, tacked on 8 boards, 7 assists. Klay Thompson had 30. Dubs beat the Rockets 106-104, snapped Houston's 9-game win streak in the process, and they did it without Kevin Durant, still out with that sore ankle. Here is Boogie Cousins after his best game of the season.
I think it's coming. We've had stretches where, it's kind of flowing for everybody, but this is a team that's been together for a while, and, they play a certain type of way, and they're used to playing a certain type of way. So for me to just come in and, I'm not expecting it to just, this team to adjust to me. Obviously, I have to adjust to them. And, I have my opportunities, so all I can do is just try to take advantage of those opportunities. And, I think I had those opportunities tonight.
It was a long time coming this season, at least for Boogie Cousins, who struggled to find his groove. What did you make of the performance Boogie put on last night?
Listen, it was necessary. When they signed him, we called him the world's greatest insurance policy because they didn't need him. But if a superstar goes down, they weren't going to be a deep team. And yesterday we saw them against the only team in the last 2 years that has a winning record against them, the Houston Rockets, a team that up to last night had swept them in the season series 3-0 with no Kevin Durant in Houston. Boogie played his best game since he was a New Orleans Pelican. And all the credit in the world to him because he was having to work on defense. So he wasn't great defensively, but he wasn't so bad.
Right.
He was unplayable. They were trying to get him in the pick and roll defensively, which we knew Houston would do. And Boogie was the offensive force that was, at his peak, the best offensive center in basketball. It's the first time we've seen that Boogie as a Golden State Warrior, and it was in a critical spot. Like, I mean, as you see from the final score, Golden State was in control throughout this game, but the Rockets made a push at the end of the second quarter to get a 2-point game at halftime, and then a late rally to where they had the ball down 3 with potentially a chance to tie it late. So they needed everything from Boogie, and Boogie was outstanding. So he's been the subject of a lot of criticism with his play, the plus-minus when he's out there. He was excellent last night, the only starter for them in the positive on the plus-minus last night.
27 points on 16 shots, better on the defensive end. Their ball movement was totally different. It seemed like there was more space on the court, but they went into this game, you could see that they were very, very focused. Boogie among the most focused ones in the group. Now, their big three, when you don't have KD in there, you still have a big three. Their big three gets 81 last night. So Boogie, what he did, and Nick, I think you brought up a good example. If you didn't watch the game out there and you just look at the stat sheet, just look at the numbers and everything, but it was far more important. Late in the game, Golden State was ahead pretty much the whole game, but late in the game, Boogie scores 10 points in that fourth quarter. They take him out for a rest. They almost lose control.
Houston goes on a 9-0 run once Boogie goes out of the game. It was a 13-point game. I think it was a 10-point game actually when Boogie came out. Cut it all the way down to a 1-point game after Chris Paul and one with 10 seconds.
So one of the big disputes was, are you going to play Boogie late, and or is he going to be such a detriment on the defensive side? He wasn't that on the defensive side, and they had to play him last night when you don't have Kevin Durant. I think, Nick, you make a great point as far as he's one of the best insurance policies that a great basketball team could ever have, because he's the insurance against injury. So last night, how did they go to Houston when they lost the first 3 meetings this year without Kevin Durant? Was because of Boogie Cousins, and we need to be able to give him credit. But in doing that, what I would say, because I know Boogie was like, oh man, this is like as the world turns and everything. Yeah, it is. Because I believe that the Warriors, great win for them last night without KD. But does it create some type of false confidence or a narrative that they're not able to live up to? Boogie Cousins played well. They need him in that fourth quarter. But going forward, we were talking the last few days, who's going to go to Boogie and tell him they have to cut his minutes late in the game? Because if they go to the 5 that they like to go to with a smaller unit.
Iguodala, Durant, Draymond, Steph, Clay.
Where you're able to move Draymond over to the 5 position, their depth lineup, that's what's won these championships of late. Who's going to tell him that? If Boogie plays well late in games, then, Nick, that confidence he had, he's still trying to get a max contract.
Listen, the Rockets wanted to win this game. There is a dogfight right now between the Rockets, the Thunder, and the Blazers in that 3-4-5 matchup. Everyone wants that 3 line because you're gonna, if you get the 4-5, you're gonna play one of those other 2 teams there. And then if you even get through that first round, you got Golden State in the second round. So it was an important game for Houston last night. With a win last night, they're 2.5 back of the 1 seed, and they obviously would have the tiebreaker with Golden State. So they wanted to win. So, and they went ice cold from 3. They were 11 of 41 from 3. They're, I think, 3-10 this year in games where they don't hit at least a dozen threes. However, if they were going to lose, them losing because Boogie plays great, that's the best way for them to lose moving forward. I know that's how they feel, because the Rockets are one of the few organizations, I believe, that when the Warriors signed Boogie Cousins, not only were they not upset, they might have felt good about it, because they know that what a detriment he is in the long term on their defense. And when he plays like that,
and it's a credit to what they emphasize as far as not only the basketball, not only the 3-point shooting, how they've changed their offense to add different dimensions to it, but the numbers and how they rely. Daryl Morey and how he relies on those numbers to be able to break down. They can't be as efficient offensively. So don't be worried when the world's saying, man, they got 5 All-Stars. How are you going to be able to do it? Daryl Morey has given them the type of confidence throughout that organization, and that's what we've seen coming down the stretch. So I could see what you're saying with Boogie being so positive in the game, how this could hurt them when they take KD coming back.
The Rockets think Boogie on the court is bad for the Warriors against them. And now last night it wasn't. Last night he was great, and he's been subject of criticism, and I want him to get a huge contract somewhere, because he has been on his best behavior the last 2 years. It's not his fault his Achilles pops. I like Boogie, but I'm just telling you from a basketball standpoint, the Rockets want him on the court. And so if the Warriors had gotten beat last night and Boogie had been bad, then if and when they play in the postseason series, you can say, man, DeMarcus, there's not a lot of evidence of you playing well in this matchup. We're going to have to pare your minutes down, for, whether you like it or not. So that is the silver lining for Houston there. The other element, Jenna, that we talked about earlier was, would either team in this spot, certainly a full-strength Houston, unveil any wrinkle, anything that they have developed over the course of the year to specifically combat Golden State in this game, when they know to get to the NBA Finals they're going to have to go through them? Or would they want to keep something in reserve for a series to where they can throw something at Golden State on either the offensive or defensive end that will catch them off guard? That's the other question. It's hard to do when you've played a team now 14 times in the last 2 seasons. But the Rockets know if they're going to make the finals, they have to go through Golden State.
Well, Golden State knows they can't be wishy-washy like they were the last couple of games. They can't beat Denver, lose to Phoenix, beat Houston, and you don't know which version of this team is going to come out. All right, let's get back to the NFL now. The Giants traded away Odell Beckham Jr. to the Browns. That we know. Now the Giants' offense consists of Saquon Barkley, a 38-year-old quarterback, and a couple of other players. Many are now questioning the front office, which also let Landon Collins walk. But General Manager Dave Gettleman